Hey guys, this is Nirmal here for Technique, and today we'll be doing a quick comparison of two mid-range smartphones, the Moto G 2014 versus the new Xiaomi Redmi Note. So these two smartphones, although have a lot of things in common, the pricing of Redmi Note is way lower than the Moto G, but still quite a lot of readers has been asking us for a comparison of these two smartphones. So we'll do a detailed comparison of these two smartphones based on the display, the design, the build, the software, the performance, the camera, and also the battery life. So let's start off the comparison, but before that let's have a quick look at the specs of these two devices. So first up, let's have a look at the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So this device was announced in India a couple of weeks back, and now it's on sale on Flipkart, and this comes with a 5.5-inch HD display. It's powered by octa-core processor with 2 GB of RAM, and then it also has a 13 megapixel rear camera with LED flash and a 5 megapixel front facing camera. So this powered by Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean, and on top of that it has the MIUI version 5, and it also supports 8 GB internal storage along with micro SD card support. There is also 3000 mAh battery powering this device. So that's the specs of the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So it's a power packed device with pretty impressive specs, and it's priced 8,999 and exclusively available on Flipkart. Now moving on to Moto G. So Moto G is a very popular model in India, and it was released sometime back in September, and this is the second generation of Moto G. It's the Moto G 2014, and it has a 5-inch display. That's an HD display powered by Snapdragon quad-core 400 processor with 1 GB of RAM. There's 16 GB internal storage and also expandable via micro SD card, and it runs the latest standard 4.4.4 KitKat, and it is also upgradable to Android Lollipop. That update will be available pretty soon for all users. Apart from that, it also has an 8 megapixel rear camera with LED flash and a 2 megapixel front facing camera. So that is the spec aspect of the Moto G. Now let's go into the design and build quality of these two smartphones. So the design wise, you can't have a direct comparison because one is 5.5-inch device and the second is a 5-inch device. So if you're looking for a compact device, then obviously the Moto G is better here. So there are two things that is favorable for the Moto G here in terms of the design. One is it's pretty compact than the Redmi Note, and also it's lighter, almost 50 grams lighter than the Redmi Note. So these two factors might be an important criteria for a lot of users, because they may not want a huge device and also a device which is very heavy. So in that aspect, the Moto G is better choice here. So but if you're not really bothered about the size of the device, then the Redmi Note has a really good design, and the build quality is really good. So overall, the Redmi Note has a really good build quality. Although this is a glossy finish, the material quality is really good, and it's even slimmer than the Moto G, because Moto G has a curved back panel. Although it is matte finish, it's thicker than the Redmi Note. So overall, if size of the device doesn't really matter, both these devices are really good build. Although we would have liked a better design for the Moto G, because it has the same design as that of a Moto G first generation. So nothing's changed. So Moto G has two dual front facing speakers, while the Redmi Note has the speakers at the back. So these were the design and build quality aspects. So build quality wise, both these devices offer really good solid build quality, and they really feel solid in hands, except for the weight factor, which is more on the Redmi Note. Now moving on to the display of these two smartphones. Both these devices sports HD display. The Redmi Note has a 5.5-inch HD display, while the Moto G has a 5-inch HD display. And both these devices have the IPS LCD panel and also Corning Gorilla Glass Shield protection. So both the displays are vibrant as well as sharp, and you can really select one display out of here, because both these have really great performance. The touch response is also really good on both these displays. So overall, in the display aspect, there is no real winner. It's based on your preference. Both have really good performance. So if you want a bigger display, obviously the Redmi Note is the choice here. Now moving on to the software and the performance. So this is one area where these two devices vary a lot. So first let's talk about the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So this comes with a Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. That's really outdated version of Android, but on top of that it has this MIUI version 5. So we have already talked about MIUI quite a lot of times, and this is one of the really great implementations of Android. This is a custom ROM, and Xiaomi has done a lot of work in customizing this UI, and you can see this beautiful notification center, and it offers tons of features included in this OS, and it has the ability to customize via themes, and a lot of other stuffs are included. So all in all, the ROM is really impressive, and you seldom notice that you're running an outdated OS. So in that aspect, the Xiaomi Redmi Note is really brilliant and performs really well. Now moving on to the performance, it's powered by a octa-core processor, that's 1.7 GHz octa-core processor with 2 GB of RAM. There are very few devices below the 10K pricing which offers 2 GB of RAM. This is Zenfone 5 being another one of these two devices, and the performance is really snappy. We don't have any lag or any issues. The gaming performance is also really good, and all in all, the MIUI version 5 along with 2 GB of RAM and octa-core processor works really well, and there is absolutely no lag on the Xiaomi Redmi Note. Now coming on to the Moto G 2014, so this runs almost the stock Android. So this has the latest Android, that's 4.4.4 KitKat, although technically Android Lollipop has been already released, and this device will be getting it in 1 month or so. So this has the latest OS, so that's the really best part of the Moto G. So if you're looking for a latest software experience from Android, then probably the Moto G makes better sense. But Moto G all in all has the stock UI, so you don't have too many features included, unlike the MIUI version 5. So again, the notification center is very simple, so everything is very simple on this device. But then you will have the latest software experience and also promised future updates. So that's one good thing about the Moto G. Now talking about the performance, it has the Snapdragon 400 quad-core processor with 1 GB of RAM, so there is no lag, no issues here, and the multitasking is also really good. So all in all, here based on the software and performance are based on two things. One is if you want a custom ROM, then probably you need to go with the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So the MIUI version 5 offers lots of features, and probably will get the MIUI version 6 as well. But the Moto G shines in the latest software update, because it will be getting the Lollipop update pretty soon. So if your criteria is the latest software update, then probably the Moto G makes sense. And if you want much more features on your OS, then the Redmi Note is the better choice. Performance wise, both these devices offer really great performance without any lag. Now moving on to the camera experience on these two smartphones. The Xiaomi Redmi Note comes with a 13 megapixel rear camera with LED flash and a 5 megapixel front facing camera for selfies. The Moto G has an 8 megapixel camera again with flash and a 2 megapixel front facing camera for video calls and selfies. So the camera, although the Xiaomi Redmi Note has 13 megapixel, the Moto G isn't really bad either. So the 8 megapixel shooter is able to capture a lot of detailing, and the photos are really good. Now talking about the interface, here is where the Xiaomi Redmi Note wins. So it offers a great interface with tons of features, modes, effects, etc. But you can see the Moto G interface is pretty simple, and you don't have too many features here. It's very basic interface, and there is also a issue with the focusing, because there is even though it's out of focus, the camera app does have issues with focusing. So all in all, the feature wise, the Redmi Note wins here. But in the overall performance of the photos, we can't really select one winner, because both have really great camera experience, both have really good color quality and also sharpness. Now talking about the video capture abilities, the Redmi Note has 1080p recording, while the Moto G only supports 720p. But even the 720p recording of the Moto G is pretty good. So even though it doesn't have 1080, the recording is pretty good. So that is the camera comparison. Now let's move on to the battery life. So in the battery performance, the Xiaomi Redmi Note has a 3000 mAh battery, while the Moto G has only 2050 mAh battery. So the battery capacity, the Redmi Note is far better than the Moto G. But having said that, the Xiaomi Redmi Note has a 5.5-inch display to power the battery, but the overall performance on the Moto G is also pretty good. But since the Redmi Note has a higher capacity battery, you can get better battery life on the Xiaomi Redmi Note than the Moto G. But the Moto G still gets you 1 day of usage with the battery, and it has pretty decent battery life. But Redmi Note excels here in the battery life because it has a higher capacity battery. So we are now considered lots of aspects of these two smartphones. So which is a better device to buy here? The Xiaomi Redmi Note is priced 8,999 and the Moto G is priced 12,999. So there is a clear 3K difference or rather 4K difference between these two phones. So let's highlight the best aspect of these two smartphones. So the Redmi Note has a really impressive software, that's the MIUI version 5. It has a really great battery life and also good pricing. That's one of the key aspects when you buy a new smartphone. So those are the aspects where the MIUI Xiaomi Redmi Note with MIUI wins. So where does Moto G has the advantage? So it has a latest software, and you will get the latest software update. Secondly, it has 16 GB storage, while the Xiaomi Redmi Note has only 8 GB variant, even though both these devices can be expanded via micro SD card. And lastly, the Moto G is pretty compact than the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So it's based on the user to decide whether they want the Xiaomi Redmi Note or the Moto G. So if size and the weight of the device doesn't really matter, we would suggest you to go with the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So that was a detailed comparison of the Xiaomi Redmi Note with the Moto G 2014. Hope you like this video. If you have any specific questions, just drop a comment and we'll be glad to help you out with your queries. If you like this video, do hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. And thanks for watching this video.